living a simple life, something out those aches and pains from working on the farm.
Hey guys, it is Eric here at Farpoint Farms. Today we'll be doing part 3 of the Johnny Products setup. This is the electrical hookups. This is the final stage in using your Johnny Products Johnny Plow Jr. Now look, there's some stuff here that doesn't come with the standard kit, so I'll set those off to the side for a second. This is what you're going to get with a standard kit. You've got 2 harnesses, and each one of those harnesses has the plug for the actuator on one side and the plug for the switch on the other side. These switches have 4 contacts. 2 of them will be for the actual power to or negative to the actuator, and the others are supplies. So you'll see 2 switches, 2 harnesses, and 2 power setups. So these will have to be hooked to your battery cable, and there's 2 sets. So you end up with 4 cables coming off the batteries, 2 positives and 2 negatives. And those are going to get wired to these switches. And then you have 2 sets of these, up, down, and dump, or raise and lower, I'm sorry. So if you want to use this style, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it, right, you click up and click down to actuate them. They always center in the dead position. Well, you're going to need to drill 2 holes just like these. Okay, and you can place those anywhere on the dash depending on the model of tractor that you have. I'm not going to be using these. I decided to upgrade and go with this, which is joystick control. This mimics the use of a front end loader on a tractor, a full-size tractor. And the cool thing about it, much like the original switches, is that this is functional in 2 positions at once. It saves time. So raise and lower, dump and lift, right? So I can put it sideways and I can lower and dump, or raise and lift. So it's nice. It saves a little time. It's a little more automated rather than having to use 2 fingers. So I like that. I like that about that. Now this one you have 2 options with. It is definitely larger than the switch design. So a lot of tractors are not going to have room on the dashboard to mount this thing. So it does come with an enclosure, a little box that you can set this thing in, drill a hole, mount it, and I might end up having to use that. I'm not sure. So I'm going to see outside where I can put that. If I can, we'll wire it from there. If not, I'll put the box in, and then you have to get like a bracket or something so I can attach it to the side of the tractor somewhere in a convenient spot for me to be able to use this. So that's what we got here. And they're also, I don't have it up here right now, but the zip ties, they're zip ties. And so once all this is installed and you have enough slack for everything to operate the way it should, well, then you get some zip ties and you tie it off so that you don't accidentally pinch wires when you are operating the machinery. Let's go out to the tractor and see what we can do. I thought I'd share this with you. The sun is out, it's pouring rain. So the next part of this video will be a little wet. But we'll wait for the rain to die down and then we'll get back on it. Alright, so now that the rain has stopped, I can show you the progress that I have made. Now, I didn't show mounting this box to anything because, like I said, it's going to be different. A lot of the ones I've seen, they put it right here, and there's a spot for it there. If you're a lefty or a righty, you can move it around. But for me, that's perfect. I can just work it right there, and I don't really have to do anything. I don't have to lean forward, so I figured that was a good spot. So what I've done is I've put that in the box, drilled a hole to bring the wiring out here. And again, it doesn't matter if you're adding switches or using the box. The rest of this is going to be the same. But let's go ahead and wire this thing up because I don't know about you, but I'm ready to try it out. We're going to start down here. We have our harnesses here and here, and we want them to come up on this side because that's where my box is. And so on this one, I'm going to go ahead and zip tie. My first zip tie is going to go right here. And you know, the beauty of zip ties is you can always adjust this stuff later on. Yeah, I think that looks good. Okay, and I'll put another one right here. They do give you plenty of these, which is really generous because I actually am almost out of these here, so I don't know if I would have had enough to do this as nicely as I can now. Alright, there we go. And I got a pair of pliers here, I can snip those. 10, the sun's coming back out, so that's perfect timing. All right, this one here, we've got our two harnesses. Guess what? It doesn't matter which one you use. They're both the same. They're both white and blue wires. They're both the same length. And both have this end, which is the end we're going to be focusing on right now, because that is going to plug in one to each of these. Make sure that they snap in there well. Okay. And there we go. So again, I think on this, I'll go ahead, well, I don't know, probably, yeah, right around here I'll put one. Except I've just, oh, they're there. Be mindful of your exhaust. This one has enough plating in between that it shouldn't cause any issues, but and I am giving myself, if you look here, a little bit of flex because everything's moving up, moving down. So just remember on this side over here, you probably want to give yourself a little bit of room, a little bit of play. And these aren't so tight that you can't move them if you must. I'm going to continue along here, and it looks like there's already existing harnesses right here, so I'm just going to add a zip tie around that to bring it up. There we go. And then the rest of this, I'll have extra. You can see here are my wires. So we'll go ahead and connect up these wires. Now, we don't know which blue and which white is which switch, but we can always change that around. So for right now, just hook a blue to a blue and a white to a white. And if we have to make changes, none of this is permanent. We're not soldering anything in here. And the other one is the same. Blue to blue and white to white. Okay, so that leaves us with these two smaller harnesses. I say harness, you know, loosely. But what we're going to have to do next is unhook our battery, and I'll get the camera on the other side here. We'll unhook the terminals on our battery, and we'll add these, and we'll hook that up to the switch as well. We'll tuck everything in, and we're done. All right, battery terminals can come in a variety of sizes for tractors. This particular one is 7/16. So I'll go ahead and loosen the back bolt. And I'll add my grounds in right here. We do have two of them, so make sure you get both of them set up. And I'm sorry if this isn't showing up very great on camera. Pretty much an impossible angle, but you guys get the idea. Okay, so there's our two grounds. And now I'll do the other side. Now you will notice on these red ones, they're both fused, which is really nice. So you have no issues if there's something were to go wrong, you were to cut a wire accidentally, no damage should happen to the charging system. Now it's time to make our last few connections. So again, we're not sure which is which, but red to red. Oops, that's not red to red. Red to red. Red to red. And the two grounds. Okay, it is time to test. Before we tuck all this in and put our hood back on, I want to make sure that I have all my motors in the right position. So let's back the camera out and check it out. Well, it's the moment of truth. If you follow this video through to now, you are also set up and ready to go. So let's see if up is down and down is up, or if anything's going to happen at all. We have movement. So that is up, that is down, that is dump. So in my case, I've got the box a little off. I've got the joystick off, but everything else works beautifully. You can see I can also get one thing simultaneously. I'll go through the motions. Really cool. Let me make adjustments and we'll take it outside and wrap this up. Well, it's time to test out the new Johnny Bucket Jr. Let's do it.
is great. So everything's working. In part 4, I'll install the load doubler bucket, which is great for moving mulch or debris around. It's lightweight. And in part 5, I'll install the tooth bar, which is good for digging into objects, scratching up stuff, breaking dirt loose. And in part 6, I'll put the forks on, which is one of the coolest things that this thing has going for it, because that allows you to carry a whole lot of lumber around sideways. It really is a very helpful feature. Till next time, my friends, take care.